In a world where love often sings a tragic tune, Ji-eun stood at the crossroads of duty and desire, grappling with the weight of an unexpected marriage. As she exchanged vows with Tae-hyuk, a former corporate titan who had lost much of his former self to a devastating accident, the air was thick with expectation. Her family's strained smiles and the muted whispers of friends suffocated her spirit. Among the swirling tension, Ji-eun felt not only the bitterness of obligation, but the warmth of her husband's unseen strength, hinting at the complexities in their union waiting to be unearthed. Initially, Ji-eun found herself torn between her own desires and the burdens thrust upon her. Living with a man whose body was a continuous reminder of fragility painted her daily life with shadows. Yet, she was surprised by how Tae-hyuk, despite his limitations, enveloped her in a world of luxury and tenderness, preparing exquisite meals that teased her taste buds and sharing stories through heartfelt gestures that spoke louder than words could. The dichotomy of their existence, with her bright spirit contrasting his imposing silence, sparked an undeniable connection, one that her skeptical friends and family failed to see. As Ji-eun immersed herself in Tae-hyuk's world, navigating lavish corporate parties and family functions, Seung-ho, Tae-hyuk's cousin, emerged as a looming threat. His ambition gleamed in the shadows as he relentlessly sought to undermine Tae-hyuk's authority at the corporation, viewing Ji-eun and Tae-hyuk's union as a weakness to exploit. In a pivotal moment during a lavish dinner, with laughter echoing off the marble walls, Seung-ho shifted the conversation, subtly suggesting that Ji-eun was merely seeking security in an ill-fated marriage. The room fell silent, eyes darting between the three, and Ji-eun felt as if she were being stripped bare before everyone present. Anger flared in her heart, igniting a spark of defiance. She would not allow their judgments to dictate her happiness. Burdened by jealousy and ambition, Seung-ho devised a plan to drive a wedge between Ji-eun and Tae-hyuk by orchestrating an accident at the company that would jeopardize Tae-hyuk's reign. As the clock ticked away, tensions escalated. Rumors of mismanagement began to spread, leading to uncertainty among the board. Ji-eun, sensing the impending danger, rallied behind her husband, determined to stand as his rock. She dug up documents and evidence that revealed Seung-ho's misconduct. A secret he believed was ensconced safely away from scrutiny. The climax erupted on a stormy night, where the typically serene atmosphere of their home was charged with fear and determination. Seung-ho, believing he had finally cornered Tae-hyuk into submission, confronted him in their living room, accusations flying like arrows. Ji-eun, breathing heavily, stepped forward, presenting the evidence she had uncovered that proved Seung-ho's treachery. The tension hung palpably in the air. It was a fight for their dignity, their love, and their dreams. In an emotional moment of vulnerability, Tae-hyuk expressed his fears about inadequacies as Ji-eun's eyes shimmered with tears, whispering, "You are not just my husband, you are my world." The revelation cemented their bond. It was not the physical limitations that defined Tae-hyuk, but the heart that beat fiercely within him. With unexpected resilience, the truth shattered Seung-ho's ambitions, leading to his disgrace. The atmosphere returned to a semblance of peace, but not before Ji-eun and Tae-hyuk weathered a profound storm, foreshadowing the challenges inherent in their journey as partners. In the aftermath, as they surveyed the horizon from a balcony awash in sunlight, Ji-eun whispered, "We have so much to build together." Tae-hyuk, his gaze steady yet vulnerable, nodded with silent understanding, knowing that their marriage had transformed from one of obligation to one forged by respect, love, and an unbreakable bond. As they faced the world hand in hand, it became evident that their love story was far from conventional. Life offered no guarantees, but in each other, they found a fulfillment that defied societal norms and expectations. With the lessons learned from their tribulations, Ji-eun and Tae-hyuk embarked on a new chapter, armed with hope, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. In a world where love faltered under pressure, theirs blossomed softly, fragrant with the promise of a future rich in both joy and resilience. Love blossoms in unexpected places, and Ji-eun's heart was about to embark on a journey filled with both warmth and challenge. Standing in the sleek modern apartment shared with Tae-hyuk, she felt a whirlwind of emotions flipping within her. Though she had married him out of obligation, what she discovered in this new life was a depth of tenderness that defied societal expectations. Tae-hyuk, a once vibrant CEO transformed by tragedy, traveled through his world with a quiet strength, showering Ji-eun with genuine affection, creating a sanctuary filled with love. Yet the juxtaposition of their reality against public perception weighed heavily on her, leaving her conflicted in private. As Ji-eun settled into her role as Tae-hyuk's wife, she found herself enveloped in a bubble of intimacy that contrasted sharply with the pitying glances and insidious whispers of friends and family. Tae-hyuk, though physically disabled and deaf, possessed an extraordinary ability to communicate through gestures and expressions, turning ordinary days into fervent dialogues of emotion. But beneath the joy, Ji-eun felt an undercurrent of tension from his ambitious cousin, Seung-ho, who always lurked in the background, eager to assert his dominance in the family corporation. His critical glances and snide remarks hinted at a power struggle that lurked just beneath the surface. One evening, as moonlight filtered through the sleek curtains, Ji-eun watched Tae-hyuk meticulously arrange flowers, an act that punctuated the love in their home, with vibrant splashes of color. In that moment, she realized just how deeply their connection stretched, as they shared unspoken dreams for the future. Tae-hyuk's gentle demeanor, however, masked a growing insecurity, his fear of being seen as incapable in the eyes of his family and business associates. Ji-eun's heart ached for him, knowing how hard he worked to shield her from the judgment of others, and she felt propelled to stand by him, determined to dismantle the barriers constructed by societal prejudice. The stakes rose unexpectedly when a business venture went awry, and Seung-ho insinuated that Tae-hyuk's accident had left the company vulnerable to mismanagement. The accusations grew louder, and Ji-eun met with their lawyer under the guise of a routine consultation. The lawyer slid across a file, a document that revealed Seung-ho's clandestine attempts to undermine Tae-hyuk's authority using underhanded tactics. With this newfound knowledge, Ji-eun became resolute in her commitment to unveil the truth, turning her love for Tae-hyuk into a powerful weapon against familial betrayal. The climax reached a boiling point at a lavish event honoring Tae-hyuk's leadership, where Seung-ho attempted to deliver a speech laced with sarcasm, challenging Tae-hyuk's capability in front of their peers. The room fell into an uneasy silence as Ji-eun's heart raced. Instead of withholding her voice, she stepped forward, breaking the tension. "Only those who know love can be strong. Tae-hyuk teaches me that strength is not about physical ability but about heart." Her words rang through the hall, stunning the audience into silence. In that moment, with everyone's eyes on them, she intertwined her fingers with Tae-hyuk's, showcasing unity against adversity. As the crowd murmured, Seung-ho faltered for the first time. What began as a confrontation turned into a revelation of the unbreakable bond they shared, igniting a spark of hope for their future. The power dynamic shifted. Tae-hyuk retained his authority, emboldened by Ji-eun's unwavering support, while Seung-ho's facade of superiority cracked under their resolve. In the aftermath, as they stood alone on the balcony beneath a starlit sky, Tae-hyuk kissed Ji-eun softly, gratitude sparkling in his eyes. "You've changed everything for me," he whispered, his voice a mix of vulnerability and strength. Ji-eun smiled, wiping away the tears of tension. "We changed everything together." The warmth of that moment encapsulated their journey, reflecting their growth from uncertainty to newfound strength. Though the paths ahead remained cluttered with challenges, Ji-eun and Tae-hyuk emerged with a deeper understanding of love and loyalty, fortified by their shared struggles and victories. They stood united, ready to face the complexities of family and the world, their hearts intertwined and brimming with possibilities. With a foundation built on authenticity and courage, they embraced the promise of their future, knowing their love would guide them through any storm that might come their way. In a world where love and family can entwine like thorns and roses, Ji-eun stepped into a reality that pushed her into the shadows. As she became entwined in the life of her husband, Tae-hyuk, the once dynamic CEO whose life was forever altered by tragedy, Ji-eun found herself facing the skepticism of in-laws and the palpable tension brewing within the family. Despite her initial reluctance, she was determined to support him, but the whispers of doubt loomed heavily over their marriage. As Ji-eun attended various company events, the disparity between Tae-hyuk's genuine warmth and the cold shoulders of his family became increasingly evident. Seung-ho, his cunning cousin, was the instigator of doubt, framing his every action as an attempt to reclaim the family legacy. During one particular gala, Seung-ho orchestrated a cruel display, showcasing an outdated business proposal that highlighted Tae-hyuk's supposed incapacity to lead. Behind her forced smile, Ji-eun felt anger swell. She watched as the guests exchanged knowing glances, some pitying, some mocking, unaware of the incredible resilience hiding behind Tae-hyuk's disability. But as she navigated through these gatherings, a deeper understanding of Tae-hyuk began to take root within her. One quiet evening, while sorting through old business files in their study, she stumbled upon a notebook filled with Tae-hyuk's sketches and notes about innovative business ideas, reflections of his true potential. Each page echoed his aspirations and dreams, giving her a glimpse into the man he once was and still aspired to be. These revelations shifted her perception, transforming pity into admiration and love as she realized the depth of his struggle to maintain integrity in the face of adversity. As Seung-ho's relentless onslaught continued, Ji-eun remained steadfast, seeking to bolster Tae-hyuk's spirit. She began taking small but meaningful steps to support him, like organizing meetings with sympathetic allies within the company who believed in Tae-hyuk's vision. The couple began spending their evenings brainstorming together, feeling the tension of the outside world retreat as they ignited creative embers within their shared dreams. Words exchanged over cups of tea transformed into heartfelt connections, deepening their marriage beyond mere obligation. However, the stakes suddenly rose higher when Seung-ho launched a vicious public campaign against Tae-hyuk, claiming mismanagement and incompetence. A scandal threatened to blow up, potentially costing Tae-hyuk everything he had fought to reclaim. The tension swirled around them like a tempest, forcing Ji-eun to confront her true feelings and the resilience she had unknowingly cultivated. She needed to do more than offer silence and support. She had to stand alongside him in his fight. During a high-stakes meeting filled with tensions thicker than the air, Tae-hyuk found himself cornered, with speculations about his leadership swirling in a cloud of animus. As Ji-eun watched him falter, she felt a surge of bravery bubble within her. With hearts pounding and eyes locked, she rose to speak up, revealing the meticulous efforts Tae-hyuk had made to steady the company despite his challenges. "Real leadership isn't about perfection, it's about persistence," she declared, glancing at her husband, whose silent determination resonated through the room. The room fell into hushed disbelief, stunned by her unfiltered elicitation of strength and vulnerability. In that decisive moment, Ji-eun's words ignited the spark of confidence inside Tae-hyuk, reaffirming their partnership. They faced Seung-ho head-on, presenting evidence of neglect in management from within the organization. The tide began to turn as allies rallied to Tae-hyuk's side, ready to confront the dishonesty instigated by Seung-ho. In the aftermath of the meeting, as the storm settled, the bond between Ji-eun and Tae-hyuk grew exponentially stronger. While Seung-ho's plans fell apart, the couple had learned invaluable lessons about trust, love, and the power of teamwork. They stood on their balcony under a canopy of stars, hearts fulfilled with a mixture of triumph and vulnerability. "I never imagined I could feel so brave," Ji-eun confessed softly, her eyes shining with newly found strength. Tae-hyuk took her hand, squeezing it gently. "You have always been my courage, Ji-eun," he replied, his voice filled with warmth. With challenges that still lay ahead, Ji-eun and Tae-hyuk remained committed to navigating their complex familial landscape together, forging ahead with a renewed sense of purpose. Their story was far from over, as life continued to test their resolve. But in each other, they had discovered not just love, but fierce solidarity, ready to face whatever trials lay ahead, untangling thorns to let their love blossom even brighter. In a world tangled with ambition and misunderstanding, the greatest strength often lies hidden in silence. Ji-eun, now fully immersed in her new life with Tae-hyuk, began to unravel the complexities of their marriage, discovering traits in him that had previously eluded her. As tensions escalated at the company and the stakes grew higher, she stumbled upon a surprising truth. Tae-hyuk was not just a man shaped by his injuries, but a strategic mind navigating a treacherous business landscape. Their sleek office was a battlefield, and among the chrome and glass, Tae-hyuk thrived. One fateful evening, while reviewing presentations for an upcoming merger, Ji-eun noticed the confident way he explained concepts to his colleagues, despite his inability to hear the feedback. His eyes sparkled with ideas, his fingers dancing over charts and strategies, revealing a commanding presence that astonished her. This was not the husband she had first married out of obligation. He was courageous and brilliant. Each realization lit a fire in Ji-eun's heart that she never knew she held for him. However, lurking within this new admiration was the sinister presence of Seung-ho. With each passing day, Ji-eun felt the looming threat of her husband's cousin, who seemed to savor every opportunity to sabotage Tae-hyuk. A disguised email here, a misplaced document there, and subtle whispers designed to cast doubt on Tae-hyuk's leadership echoed around them. During a crucial board meeting, Ji-eun witnessed Seung-ho's manipulation firsthand. With every misleading question aimed at Tae-hyuk, Ji-eun felt a mix of anger and frustration. The once clear view of their marriage began to falter under the pressures of external influences. Matters took a darker turn when Ji-eun discovered an anonymous letter slipped beneath their apartment door, detailing fabricated claims against Tae-hyuk, accusations of fraud supposedly tied to the merger he had been spearheading. The world they fought so hard to build was crumbling under a barrage of deceit. In those hushed moments of despair, Ji-eun found herself facing an unexpected epiphany. She would no longer let the shadows control their fate. That evening, as rain poured incessantly, Ji-eun confronted Tae-hyuk about the letter. The weight of the threat loomed larger than she had anticipated. "We need to go public with this. We need to fight back," she asserted, her voice steady through the storm. The room filled with a charged silence as Tae-hyuk absorbed her words, his gaze thoughtful yet burdened. "Ji-eun, exposing it could magnify the scrutiny, but—" He paused, sensing her determination. The shared glimmer of resilience in her eyes fueled his own and sparked a shared passion that bound them together more than any vow ever could. With a unified breath, he finally agreed. "Then we shall expose him. Together." The climax of their fight culminated in a high-stakes press conference where they laid out the truth behind Seung-ho's scheming. The lights flashed and questions rang out as Ji-eun took the podium, confident and composed. Her words radiated strength as she exposed the orchestrated lies aimed at tarnishing Tae-hyuk's reputation. A true leader is not defined by physical ability, but by the ability to lead with integrity and vision against adversity, she declared, her eyes fixed on the crowd and firmly landing on Seung-ho's shocked face. Seung-ho faltered, unable to counter the evidence exacted during the conference. The tables had turned. Public opinion shifted as they reclaimed their narrative. The culmination of their unwavering support for one another unveiled a previously unseen bond forged by love and trust amidst chaos. In the days that followed, as the media circus dissipated, rebirth blossomed in the air. Ji-eun and Tae-hyuk stood together, navigating the challenges ahead, but now facing them with a renewed promise of partnership. One evening, watching the city lights twinkle over the horizon, Ji-eun turned to Tae-hyuk, her heart full. "I admire you more than ever. You're not just my husband. You are my inspiration." Tae-hyuk's eyes softened as he replied, "No, you are mine. Because of you, I feel strong enough to fight any battle." As they embraced, Ji-eun felt an unwavering hope for the future glow within her. They had weathered the storm, strengthening their love and reclaiming their space within the family dynamic. The path ahead would continue to present challenges, but with every trial, they would forge ahead together. In a world shadowed with doubt, they had discovered the unmatched power of unity, an unstoppable force ready to face whatever life throws their way, hand in hand. Beneath the surface of a seemingly perfect life, darkness lurked, ready to shatter fragile illusions. As Ji-eun settled deeper into her marriage with Tae-hyuk, a world of warmth and tenderness began to bloom in their shared happiness. Yet, tranquility quickly turned to turmoil when Ji-eun received an anonymous letter that threatened to unravel everything they had built together. It spoke of dark family secrets tied to Seung-ho, Tae-hyuk's cunning cousin, and hinted at a connection to the accident that had changed their lives forever. The evening she discovered the letter, shadows danced across their living room walls, casting an eerie glow on Tae-hyuk's focused silhouette as he worked on a strategic business proposal. Ji-eun's heart raced. The implications of the letter weighed heavily on her mind, and as her fingers trembled over the paper, she was gripped by the fear of what it could mean for their fragile relationship. The words screamed betrayal, secrets that held the power to tear apart the remaining trust in their marriage. Anxiety clawed at her chest. How could she tell him? When she finally mustered the courage to speak, Ji-eun's voice trembled. "Tae-hyuk, I received something today." His attentive gaze quickly turned serious, sparkles of concern illuminating his features. As she revealed the letter and its contents, she watched as emotions flickered across his face. Shock, anger, and then resolve. "Seung-ho has wanted to undermine me from the beginning," he said, his voice steady but laced with disappointment. "He won't stop until he destroys me. Us." Ji-eun felt the surge of protectiveness swell within her, the desire to shield Tae-hyuk from the looming threat. A fierce determination ignited in her heart. "We have to confront this. Together," she declared, her eyes gleaming with newfound purpose. It was no longer about manipulation or deceit. This was about their life, their love, and their future. As they unraveled the truth behind the letter, they discovered that Seung-ho's family had long been shrouded in mystery. The implications of his past revealed a dark history marked by accidents, financial troubles, and betrayals that had left scars lasting generations. Ji-eun's heartbreak turned to fury as she realized how deep the roots of Seung-ho's ambition ran. Their lives had already been touched by tragedy, but now it felt personal, as if they were being forced to fight a battle written in the stars. The climax ratcheted up when Ji-eun and Tae-hyuk decided to take their evidence to a family gathering, a high-stakes dinner at the family estate. Surrounded by relatives who turned their backs on Tae-hyuk at the slightest sign of vulnerability, Ji-eun felt the weight of their judgment on her shoulders. But this time would be different. With her heart racing, she took a deep breath and shared the contents of the letter, exposing Seung-ho to the light of day. "Enough of this charade," she proclaimed, facing the stunned family members. "We will not let a legacy of lies and deceit define our future." The room fell silent, eyes darting between Ji-eun and the man who thrived on deception. Faced with public scrutiny, Seung-ho struggled to maintain his facade. In that intense moment, the atmosphere crackled with tension. Tae-hyuk stood beside Ji-eun, his resolve visibly solidified. Together, they had transformed their vulnerability into undeniable strength. As the dinner erupted into chaos, Ji-eun felt an exhilaration she had never known. It was liberating to confront the darkness. Though tensions escalated, the truth had set them free. Seung-ho's facade crumbled under the weight of their combined strength, revealing a deeply flawed man whose insecurities had turned toxic. In the days that followed, the family dynamics shifted. Seung-ho's attempts to undermine Tae-hyuk were met with resistance from their family, who began to see the truth behind the lies. Ji-eun and Tae-hyuk emerged closer than ever, emboldened by the battles won side by side. The fears that once held them captive dissipated, replaced by a newfound fortitude in their love. Standing together in their home, Ji-eun grasped Tae-hyuk's hands, feeling the warmth between them. "You showed incredible strength, Ji-eun," he said, his eyes brimming with gratitude. "You didn't just fight for me, you fought for us." Ji-eun smiled, knowing they had faced the storm and emerged victorious. They had shattered the facade of the perfect life they had created and, in the process, forged an authentic love, strengthened by adversity. While their future remained an uncertain landscape, One truth stood firm. Together, they could weather any storm that dared to threaten their happiness. In the fragile balance between love and trauma, the heart knows its own struggles. Ji-eun and Tae-hyuk had faced challenges together, a tempest of external pressures, family expectations, and inner demons. But within that storm, something beautiful began to blossom. As they navigated the complexities of their intertwined lives, Ji-eun found herself drawn to Tae-hyuk's genuine kindness and resilience, igniting a passion she never realized had lain dormant within her. Their home, once filled with doubts and echoes of uncertainty, transformed into a sanctuary of shared strength. Each day, as they collaborated on business strategies over late-night coffee or faced family dinners filled with veiled criticisms, Ji-eun discovered layers to Tae-hyuk's character that captured her heart. Watching him put forth effort to maintain his composure in the face of doubt stirred something deep within her. Beside him, she felt a warmth that melted the walls she had built around herself, walls forged from a past rife with hurt. But as her feelings for him deepened, so did her struggle with unearthing buried memories that threatened to resurface. Seong-ho's deceitful actions acted as triggers for panic, knitting together the fabric of Ji-eun's past with her present. One stormy evening, the power flickered unexpectedly, casting long shadows throughout their living room. She clutched a throw pillow, desperate for clarity. As the winds howled outside, they echoed the turbulent emotions roiling within her. Ji-eun was reminded of a childhood incident when she had been betrayed by her closest friend, a moment that left scars still tender to the touch. Overcome by emotion, she confided in Tae-hyuk, her voice a trembling whisper. "I've been feeling lost, like shadows from the past are creeping into the present." His presence beside her grounded her, a steady anchor in her rising tide of vulnerability. "You're not alone, Ji-eun. We can face whatever it is together," he reassured her, gripping her hand firmly. It was moments like these that drew her closer to him, but her fear lingered, intertwining with the ongoing threat posed by Seong-ho and his ambitions. Despite their deepening connection, Ji-eun felt the weight of both her past and her future pressing down on her. The world seemed to conspire against them when, on an ordinary afternoon, an unexpected encounter with Seong-ho intensified her internal conflict. Caught off guard in a coffee shop, she overheard him speaking to an associate about cutting out the weak links in the family business. The subtle menace in his tone chilled her. That day, she returned home with a resolve stronger than steel. She would confront her fears and protect the life they were building together. The climax erupted when Ji-eun decided to confront Seong-ho directly at the next family gathering. She couldn't let the specter of betrayal threaten the burgeoning love she had forged with Tae-hyuk. With her heart pounding, she stood in front of her family, gripping Tae-hyuk's hand tightly for strength. "I won't allow you to manipulate our lives any longer," she declared, her voice echoing with conviction. "We deserve the truth. We deserve to live free from the shadows of your betrayals." Surprised murmurs rippled through the room, and Ji-eun felt the weight of their stares. Seong-ho's face hardened, but for the first time, his facade cracked. The confrontation spiraled into a revelation as secrets spilled forth. His machinations were revealed to be rooted in jealousy and the painful memories of their family's history. The gathered family were left stunned, caught between their biases and the raw truth laid bare. As Ji-eun confronted the patterns that had haunted her, the emotional burden began to dissipate, drawing her closer to Tae-hyuk. In the aftermath, tensions remained, but with new foundations laid. As Ji-eun and Tae-hyuk returned home, a comforting silence enveloped them. They shared thoughts over tea, an intimacy blooming where once there had only been shadows. "You were incredible today," Tae-hyuk said softly, admiration radiating from his eyes. Ji-eun smiled, her heart swelling with pride and love. "I was only able to stand up because of you. I feel stronger with you by my side." Their journey had not been easy, but now they faced the future with renewed resolve. The past might always linger, but together, they could dispel its darkness, choosing authenticity and love over fear. With hands intertwined and hearts aligned, Ji-eun and Tae-hyuk stepped forward, ready to navigate the complexities of their lives, not as victims of circumstances, but as partners fighting for each other in a world brimming with uncertainty, yet filled with hope. In the cutthroat world of corporate ambitions, alliances can shift like sand, and loyalty is often eclipsed by greed. The tension in the conference room was palpable as Ji-eun accompanied her husband Tae-hyuk into a crucial board meeting, the air thick with uncertainty. Seung-ho, Tae-hyuk's cousin, had long presented himself as a formidable opponent, and today he seized his moment with a calculated boldness, proposing a corporate restructuring that could plunge their company into chaos. Ji-eun's heart raced. The stakes had never been higher. As the meeting began, the atmosphere crackled with intensity. Seung-ho's voice rang with confidence. "The current management structure is outdated and inefficient. It's time for a change," he stated, meeting the eyes of board members who couldn't wait to see how Tae-hyuk would respond. Ji-eun sensed the unspoken divide. Loyalists standing behind her husband, and those who eyed the opportunity to pull the rug out from under him. And Seung-ho knew it. Tae-hyuk, his expression steady but betraying a hint of worry, pushed back. "My vision for this firm is not only about numbers, but about people. Their passion and commitment drive success. We can't gamble our stability on a whim," he articulated. But Ji-eun could see the doubt swirling in the eyes of some board members. The insecurity gnawed at her. Was this the beginning of the end for the foundation they had built together? With her heart pounding, Ji-eun felt an unexpected surge of resolve. In recent months, she had absorbed so much from Tae-hyuk, not just about the business, but about resilience and belief in their shared vision. With a quick glance at her husband, she recalled the late-night discussions that had taught her the intricacies of their craft. Suddenly, she stood, her voice steady amidst the chaos. "I believe we need to consider both perspectives. Change should not come at the cost of our core values," she asserted, surprising the board and herself. Gasps rustled through the room. "What do you mean?" Seung-ho's narrowed eyes pinned her with skepticism. She forged ahead, rallying the knowledge she'd gained through their bond. "Tae-hyuk has implemented key strategies that have revitalized our sales trends. Instead of tearing down our achievements, let's focus on building upon them. We need fostering, and not upheaval," Ji-eun stated, each word aimed at emphasizing unity rather than division. The intensity of the moment soared as allies and rivals alike shifted their attention to her. Seung-ho made a show of dismissing her with a snide remark about her lack of experience in corporate strategies, but the doubts he aimed to instill began to evaporate as Ji-eun's conviction held fast. "Well, if you can provide evidence that illustrates how such restructuring has historically led to growth without sacrificing our values, I would support it," she countered coolly, calling his bluff and turning his tactics against him. As the room erupted in whispers, severed loyalties were now in full display. Some board members nodded in agreement, their faith in Tae-hyuk reigniting. Ji-eun's heart soared. She could not only confront these corporate giants, she could shift the direction of their fate together with her husband. The climax came when a reluctant board member, emboldened by Ji-eun's courage, stood. "Perhaps we should explore the growth strategies outlined by Tae-hyuk further," he suggested. The swirl of energy in the room shifted, swaying the tides in favor of the couple. Seung-ho's face darkened, but it was too late. The tide of support rose against him. "We can't make decisions based on emotion and personal relationships," he spat back, but Ji-eun saw through his facade of frustration. "Isn't that what business is? Emotion drives dedication, and relationships foster loyalty." Ji-eun shot back, undeterred. The truth of her words resonated, lighting a spark of realization in the faces around her. In the conclusion of the meeting, it became clear. Seung-ho's ambitions were thwarted as the board rallied behind Tae-hyuk's vision, marking a significant victory against manipulation and deceit. Their proposal for restructuring was folded back into a broader strategy that embraced growth while holding onto the company's values. As the tension eased, Ji-eun turned to Tae-hyuk, whose eyes shone with admiration. "You were incredible," he whispered, pulling her into an embrace that spoke volumes of gratitude and shared triumph. They had weathered the storm together, reaffirming that their love and partnership could conquer adversity. Stepping into their future, Ji-eun felt an exhilarating sense of empowerment. Their journey together had strengthened their bond, and the battle won renewed her faith in their shared path. With each challenge faced, they emerged stronger, ready to take on whatever obstacles lay ahead, hand in hand, fortified by love and the courage to stand in the face of turmoil. In the high-stakes realm of corporate warfare, betrayal lurks closer than family. With everything on the line, Tae-hyuk had prepared painstakingly for the upcoming product launch, a venture he believed would elevate the family company and solidify his place as its rightful leader. However, unbeknownst to him, a malevolent tide churned beneath the surface, ready to sink his dreams. The catalyst for this betrayal? Seung-ho, his ambitious cousin, whose jealousy had festered into a lethal scheme to sabotage Tae-hyuk's long-awaited success. As the launch date loomed ever closer, Ji-eun sensed an unease within the office walls. The once vibrant atmosphere grew thick with tension as whispers of uncertainty and half-hearted alliances filled the air. One evening, while reviewing the day's reports, Ji-eun noticed a subtle but malevolent figure lingering at the corner of the room. A new intern named Min-sik, whose overly eager demeanor soon raised her suspicions. The casual chats broke into her conscious mind as she observed him too closely following her husband, eager to please but overly intrusive. Just days before the launch, in a crucial meeting with their marketing team, the disaster struck. A critical component of the product's framework mysteriously failed, nearly ruining the entire presentation. Panic spread like wildfire among the team, eyes darting in confusion and fear. Tae-hyuk worked deftly to salvage the situation, but Ji-eun's instincts screamed that this was no accident. It had all the hallmarks of sabotage. In quiet desperation, Ji-eun sought answers, rummaging through their corporate database late into the night. With every click of the keyboard, her heartbeat echoed like a drum of impending doom. Then, she stumbled across incriminating evidence, an email thread revealing that Min-sik had been in direct communication with Seung-ho, discussing tactics to undermine the launch. The enormity of the discovery hit her like a freight train. This was not just a betrayal of business. It was a personal attack on everything Tae-hyuk and she had built together. The climax of their struggle came when Ji-eun raced into the conference room moments before the final meeting. Heart pounding, she burst in, breathless but determined. "Tae-hyuk, we're in danger!" she called out, her voice slicing through the tension in the crowded room. Every eye turned toward her, and it felt as if time stood still as she revealed the trail of conspiracy that linked Seung-ho and Min-sik. Tae-hyuk's eyes widened, a mixture of surprise and concern flooding his expression. "What are you saying?" he asked, reality dawning with horrifying clarity. When Ji-eun shared the evidence, gasps filled the room, but the room's unease morphed into a fierce loyalty as the team began to rally around them. "Trust is everything in this business," Ji-eun declared, resolute. "We cannot let fear dictate our future." The shared glances of determination with their team fortified her courage, and in that moment, the bonds forged through struggle clung tightly. They had to confront Seung-ho together. As they stormed into Seung-ho's office, the atmosphere burned with animosity. How could you betray your own flesh and blood? Tae-hyuk's voice was low and seething with disappointment. Seung-ho, however, remained unrepentant. "Business is business, Tae-hyuk. You were a fool to think you could outmaneuver me." With everything teetering on the brink, Ji-eun stepped forward, fueled by her fierce loyalty and love. "This isn't just about you and your ambition. This is about our lives, our family. You can't keep tarnishing those around you just to fill your own pockets." Her words resonated, and for the first time, doubt flickered in Seung-ho's eyes. The conclusion of their confrontation revealed Seung-ho's vulnerabilities, which he had always masked with arrogance and cruel tactics. As alliances shifted once more in that boardroom, a collective decision broke through. Tainted by Seung-ho's betrayal, the board opted to support Tae-hyuk and Ji-eun, solidifying their roles and their shared vision for the future. With the sabotage thwarted and their bond strengthened, Ji-eun emerged from the ordeal knowing they could stand strong together. They faced the challenges ahead with newfound purpose. Even as shadows of betrayal lingered in the background, they would navigate them as partners. Walking out of the building, hand in hand, Ji-eun and Tae-hyuk had weathered the storm, protecting not just their business, but also the love that had blossomed amidst the chaos, ready to embrace whatever the future might hold. In the shadows of family loyalty, the truth can become a weapon. With the stakes higher than ever, Ji-eun and Tae-hyuk stood together, their hearts resolute as they faced Seung-ho, poised to expose the hidden secrets that threatened their family ties and the future of the company. The boardroom, once a space of speculation, transformed into a battleground where loyalty would clash with deceit and an emotional showdown would dictate their path forward. The atmosphere crackled with tension as the trio entered the boardroom, the air thick with unspoken resentments. Ji-eun glanced at Tae-hyuk, finding strength in his steady gaze. They were united, and she could feel the fire igniting within them. "This ends today," Ji-eun announced, her voice breaking the oppressive silence, each word punctuated with determination. She pulled out her evidence, the emails, financial records, the connections Seung-ho had forged with dubious partners, all intended to undermine Tae-hyuk's leadership. Seung-ho, high on his past victories, tried to scoff dismissively, a smirk plastered on his face. "You think a well-rehearsed speech can sway me, Ji-eun? You're out of your depth," he retorted. But there was an unmistakable tremor in his voice. Ji-eun could see the fleeting shadows of doubt cross his features. He had underestimated her, just as he had underestimated Tae-hyuk. "What's at stake here is more than just this company. It's our family. You have disregarded everything we built for your own ambition," Tae-hyuk challenged, his voice ringing with authority. For a man often seen as vulnerable, his passion became a lighthouse against Seung-ho's tempestuous schemes. The tension escalated when Seung-ho's facade began to crack. "You think you can rally them with your emotional tales? This is business, not sentimentality," he shot back, desperation creeping into his bravado. But Ji-eun sensed the shift among the assembled board members. They were beginning to question Seung-ho's integrity. "The truth is ugly, Seung-ho," Ji-eun pressed on, armed with her newfound strength. "You've betrayed not only Tae-hyuk, but the very foundations of this company. What you call business is nothing more than a betrayal dressed in greed." Her words echoed in the room, igniting a spark of resolve among their allies. As the emotional weight of the confrontation mounted, the turning point came unexpectedly. One of the elder board members, known for his taciturn nature, broke the silence. "Seung-ho, I expected you to lead with honor, not treachery. You've put us all at risk," he declared, his voice thick with disappointment. The subtle shift in power dynamics coiled around Seung-ho like a noose, tightening with every heartbeat. The final blow landed when Ji-eun revealed the true consequences of Seung-ho's actions, information that could not just endanger the company, but also jeopardize their family's legacy. "We either stand together as a family, or we fall apart in division," she said, her voice steady, yet laced with emotional truth. The room fell silent, the weight of Ji-eun's words hanging heavy in the air. The board members, once swayed by Seung-ho's ambition, began to see through the turmoil he had sown. Seung-ho, realizing he was outnumbered and outmaneuvered, started to retreat behind a facade of arrogance. But it was too late. His authority unraveled as allies began to voice their support for Tae-hyuk and Ji-eun. In that pivotal moment, Ji-eun and Tae-hyuk's determination forged a bond that could not be severed. The emotional catharsis of their struggle was palpable, a shared understanding that found its way through their earlier insecurities. "I'm so proud of you," Tae-hyuk whispered to Ji-eun, admiration shining in his eyes. "Together, we can do this," she replied, feeling the depth of their connection empower her further. The trust they had cultivated became a shield against the chaos. In the resolution that followed, Seung-ho was left with no choice but to step back, watched by the very family he had sought to manipulate. Tae-hyuk and Ji-eun emerged not only victorious, but also deeply transformed. They had learned the value of unity and the power of confronting darkness together. As they walked out of the boardroom, hand in hand, the complexities of their relationships were reconciled by the truth they stood by. They had faced the storm, fortified by love and the fierce loyalty they had nurtured. The road ahead remained uncertain, but with each step they carved a path toward hope and the promise of a shared future, unyielding against the undercurrents of betrayal. In the wake of betrayal, only the truth can forge a stronger bond. As the dust settled from the explosive confrontation with Seung-ho, Ji-eun and Tae-hyuk stood amid the remnants of corporate strife, now the architects of their destiny. The tension that had gripped them turned into relief as the details of Seung-ho's scheming unraveled, exposing not just his deceit, but the lengths to which he had gone to secure his ambitions. The air hummed with energy, a mix of uncertainty and newfound strength, catalyzing the evolution of their relationship. In the following days, the atmosphere in the office shifted dramatically. Employees whispered about the scandal, yet there was a palpable sense of unity as the remaining allies rallied behind Ji-eun and Tae-hyuk. The once formidable Seung-ho was now a pariah, ostracized for his fraudulent dealings and lack of loyalty. Ji-eun noted the change in how the staff regarded them. No longer were they seen merely as a couple in a strategic arrangement, but as partners who had successfully navigated a treacherous path together. As they worked through the aftermath, Ji-eun found her voice gaining strength. She began to contribute ideas during meetings in ways she had hesitated to before, realizing her opinions were valued. Each brainstorming session with Tae-hyuk turned into opportunities for connection, her laughter mingling with his, creating a rhythm that built their synergy in both personal and professional spheres. "Your insights today were brilliant," Tae-hyuk praised one afternoon, a genuine smile lighting up his face. His words sparked warmth in Ji-eun's heart, reinforcing her confidence. Yet shadows from the past still loomed, a reminder of the struggles they had faced. A pivotal moment arrived one evening when Ji-eun found herself alone in their shared office, contemplating the whirlwind of recent events. For the first time, she felt emboldened to address the underlying wounds, her fears about falling short of expectations, not just from their families but from within herself. She stared at the city skyline, letting the cool air wash over her, and whispered, "I want to be enough." When Tae-hyuk entered, he noticed her distant gaze. Sitting beside her, he gently asked, "What's on your mind?" The vulnerability in her voice quivered as she let her insecurities spill forth. "Sometimes I feel like I'm just filling a role. What if I'm not the partner you need?" Tae-hyuk's expression softened, a glimmer of understanding in his eyes. "You are so much more than an arrangement to me. You've helped me see life differently. And without you, I wouldn't have the strength to push through." His words stirred something deep inside Ji-eun. Their intimate conversation illuminated how far they had come together, and the realization solidified around them. This was not just a partnership born out of necessity. It was rooted in genuine affection. As they approached the company's annual gala, anticipation intertwined with lingering unease. The event echoed with laughter and clinking glasses, but Ji-eun was aware that Seung-ho's shadows still danced around them. During a moment of quiet, as they stood on the balcony overlooking the city lights, Tae-hyuk turned to her, eyes earnest. "Whatever happens tonight, I want you to know that I've never felt more connected to anyone." His confession wrapped around Ji-eun's heart, igniting a flame she had not understood was there. But just then, the unexpected happened. An uninvited guest slipped into the event, a shadow from Seung-ho's past. Min-sik, his former intern who had previously acted as Seung-ho's puppet, stood unable to find his footing amidst the crowd. Ji-eun recognized the echo of danger in his gaze, and her heart raced, realizing he brought with him the potential for a new conflict. The tension peaked as he confronted Tae-hyuk, unleashing unfounded accusations and revealing how he was manipulated into his unjust actions. The gala's cheerful ambiance flipped into a charged standoff, but Ji-eun could feel the resolve solidifying between her and Tae-hyuk. Armed with her regained confidence, she stepped in. "The truth doesn't shift to favor those who lack integrity," she said. In that pivotal climax, Ji-eun turned the accusations against Min-sik, shedding light on how he had been misled. The uncertainty surrounding him faded as the room watched, captivated by her unwavering stand. In a flash, the wheels of perception turned. Support swelled for Ji-eun and Tae-hyuk, as Min-sik was outnumbered by the community of employees who remembered the truth. As Min-sik backed down under the weight of exposed deception, Ji-eun and Tae-hyuk shared a glance, knowing they had triumphed yet again. Their bond was not only solidified throughout the struggle, it blossomed into a deep and passionate love, built on trust, honesty, and shared aspirations. In the days that followed, Ji-eun and Tae-hyuk transformed the company for the better. Their goals aligned, and their hearts intertwined. Seung-ho's shadow faded further, making way for light and clarity in both their professional and personal lives. As they faced a future filled with hope, Ji-eun and Tae-hyuk understood that they were ready to embrace whatever may come, all because they had learned to lean on each other through every storm. With emotions blooming alongside their shared ambitions, they hand in hand embarked upon a new chapter, leaving behind the ghosts of betrayal and stepping boldly into the glorious possibilities of love. In the wake of adversity, love often reveals its deepest truths. Ji-eun and Tae-hyuk stood side by side at the entrance of the rehabilitation center, a place once filled with uncertainty and struggle. Today, its walls echoed their laughter and shared memories, a testament to their resilience. As they reflected on their journey, the weight of the past washed over them, but so did the strength of their newfound connection. Warmed by the afternoon sun, they stepped inside, feeling the air thick with memories. Ji-eun observed how far they had come. Tae-hyuk, once embodying vulnerability, had emerged infused with determination and hope. "Do you remember the first time I brought you here?" she asked, her tone lightening the heavy atmosphere. Tae-hyuk laughed softly, the warmth of that laugh cutting through the weight of their history. "I almost didn't want to come outside after all those exercises," he chuckled, a hint of mischief in his eyes. "But you did it. You kept pushing through, and look at you now," Ji-eun replied, pride swelling in her chest. Their profound connection blossomed as they navigated the hallways. Each smile exchanged, each playful jab was a stitch in the fabric of a love deepened by trials. Yet, beneath the light-hearted banter, a flicker of uncertainty lingered. Ji-eun realized that the journey was not only about Tae-hyuk's physical rehabilitation, but also about her own emotional healing. She had stepped into a marriage forged in obligation, but now understood that they were not simply partners in struggle. They were allies and lovers, committed to nurturing each other's growth. Their next stop was their wedding venue, and as they arrived, Ji-eun felt nostalgia wash over her. The place where they had promised themselves to each other now resembled a portal to a more innocent time, unmarred by the complexities they had faced. "It looks different now," she murmured, taking in the lush garden where they had exchanged vows. Tae-hyuk nodded, his eyes glistening with memories. "We had so much hope that day. We still have it," he said, reaching for her hand. Ji-eun felt a jolt of connection, amplifying the warmth between them. "I think we're finally learning what that hope means," she replied, her voice thick with emotion. In that moment of vulnerability, Ji-eun found herself sharing dreams for the future. "I want to travel the world with you, to experience everything," she confessed, her heart racing as if revealing her soul. Tae-hyuk smiled, his gaze steady and reassuring. "And I want to build a life where we support each other through every twist and turn. We can keep dreaming together." But below the surface of their dreams, a nagging fear bubbled. What if the challenges that had brought them together also threatened to pull them apart? As if sensing her thoughts, Tae-hyuk tightened his grip on her hand. "No matter what lies ahead, I'll support you. You're my partner, Ji-eun." With those promises lingering in the air, Ji-eun felt her resolve strengthening. This wasn't merely a vow made on a sunny day. It was a commitment to weather every storm together. The emotional catharsis that washed over her was both liberating and empowering. "And I will support you too, no matter what it takes," she vowed, her voice steady, their shared dreams crystallizing into an unbreakable bond. In the days that followed, Ji-eun and Tae-hyuk found themselves navigating new heights of intimacy and connection. The challenges that once loomed large now seemed surmountable when faced together. They began attending company events side by side, showcasing their united front against any opposition. Their laughter echoed through the halls, a joyful reminder that they had conquered adversity. As one quiet evening drew to a close, they returned home, satisfied after a day of victories, large and small. Ji-eun leaned against Tae-hyuk, feeling safe in the sanctuary they had built. "I never imagined we could come this far," she whispered, gazing into his eyes. "Neither did I," he replied, brushing his thumb across her cheek, a gentle promise of devotion. "But I know now that we can weather anything if we do it together." In that moment, enveloped in tranquility, Ji-eun and Tae-hyuk understood that they had learned not just to survive, but to thrive. Their journey was no longer a tale of obligation, but one of love, woven through shared aspirations, unyielding support, and the joy of facing the future together. With renewed faith in themselves and each other, they stepped boldly into the unknown, ready to embrace whatever challenges awaited, forever aligned in their hearts and dreams. In the heart of a bustling city, beneath the glow of the setting sun, Ji-eun and Tae-hyuk stood as beacons of resilience, embodying love's transformative power. Their journey had been fraught with challenges, betrayals, misunderstandings, and struggles within the corporate world. But they had emerged from the storm hand in hand, ready to create a legacy that would inspire others. The setting was the spacious, elegantly decorated hall of their company, now transformed to celebrate a significant milestone. Family and friends filled the room, their faces glowing with pride and joy. Today, Ji-eun and Tae-hyuk would announce the creation of a scholarship fund in their names, a testament to their shared commitment to aid those with disabilities, something that resonated deeply with both of their journeys. As the ceremony began, Ji-eun felt her heart flutter, a mixture of excitement and nervousness swirling within her. Tae-hyuk squeezed her hand reassuringly, a warm gesture that sparked an electric connection. "Are you ready?" he whispered, his eyes sparkling with anticipation. Ji-eun nodded, her determination steadied by his unwavering support. "Always," she replied, feeling empowered as she stepped forward to address the audience. "3 years ago, my husband and I entered into a partnership forged by trust and the desire to build something meaningful," Ji-eun began, her voice steady despite the flood of memories rushing through her. "But it was also a journey through struggles that taught us how vital it is to uplift one another." Her words brought the audience's attention fully onto her. The room fell silent, knowing they were witnessing something special. With each word, Ji-eun relayed not only her own experience, but the trials Tae-hyuk had faced, his determination in rehabilitation, the battles against societal prejudices, and their shared victories over adversity. "This scholarship fund aims to support those who dream of achieving their goals, despite the obstacles in their way," she concluded, passion fueling her every syllable. The applause that followed was thunderous and heartfelt, echoing the profound impact of their initiative. As the clapping subsided, Tae-hyuk, his face aglow with pride, took to the stage. "Ji-eun believes in the capacity for love to transform lives," he spoke with conviction. "This fund will ensure that others have the opportunity to rise above their circumstances, just as Ji-eun helped me." The emotion in his voice was palpable, and Ji-eun felt her heart swell with affection. His strength and vulnerability radiated a power they would forever share. But then, in an unexpected turn during the Q&A session that followed, a familiar figure emerged from the crowd. It was Min-sik, the same intern who had once been entangled in Seong-ho's schemes. Ji-eun's heart raced. What could he possibly want? With a shaky breath, he stood, his expression remorseful. "I just want to say that your journey has inspired someone like me," he began, voice quivering with emotion. "I've struggled to overcome the reputation I built through my mistakes. I want to change. I want to believe in something better." His vulnerability hung in the air, and Ji-eun could see the weight of his past pressing down on him. In that moment, the room held its breath. Ji-eun felt a surge of empathy. "Thank you for your courage in speaking up," she said softly. "It takes strength to admit faults and seek growth. We all deserve a second chance." The supportive murmurs from the audience encouraged Min-sik as he expressed his desire to contribute to the scholarship fund, hoping to help others like himself. The unexpected twist of forgiveness rang deep within Ji-eun's heart, amplifying the compassion she had cultivated throughout her journey. Later that evening, as the light outside dimmed and the room filled with laughter and celebration, Tae-hyuk took Ji-eun aside, away from the festivities. Today was beyond what I could have imagined, he said, his eyes reflecting the twinkle of celebration. But the real success is in standing here with you, facing everything together. Ji-eun smiled, brushing her fingers over his cheek. You've always handled challenges with such grace, and it has taught me what true love means. Their connection deepened, a bond fortified by mutual respect and unwavering support. Forever starts now, she whispered, her heart brimming with hope. Tae-hyuk's warm smile enveloped her like a blanket. Yes, he replied, leaning closer as the world faded around them. In that intimate moment, they understood that their story was just beginning. Together, they had forged a future built on love, resilience, and the unwavering desire to uplift others. As they stepped back into the warmth of the celebration, hands intertwined, Ji-eun and Tae-hyuk were ready to embrace the journey ahead, undaunted by challenges and forever inspired by the power of love to transcend boundaries.